Remember the number 43. This is the result of the age of the Milky Way galaxy, 13 billion years divided by the time required to colonize the whole galaxy's 0.3 billion years, which means that intelligent civilization will expand. If there is any civilization in the universe that wants to expand, our galaxy has been completely formatted at least 43 times. But you see, the Earth is still there. And so are we. Either we are the 44th lucky ones, or we have misunderstood existence itself. They may be everywhere, but we not seeing. This contradiction of whether it is there or not is exactly the question of Fermi's paradox. To understand this question, we must go back to the birth of this paradox and see what we fear. Let's go back to the starting point of the story. In the summer of 1950 in Los Alamos, the place where the atomic bomb was built, a group of the smartest brains were having lunch. One of them was quantum physics giant Enrico Fermi. They chatted about a New Yorker cartoon of an alien happily walking off a flying saucer. At this moment, Fermi looked up and asked a question that sounded naive but plagued mankind for more than 70 years. Where are they? It is this casual question that has grown like a seed into the Fermi paradox that shocks us today. Its logical chain is terrible. First, the universe is 13.8 billion years old, and the Milky Way has a history of 13 billion years. There is a lot of time. Second, the solar system and the Earth are not special. There may be billions of similar planets in the Milky Way. Third, as long as there is a civilization on a planet that was born 1 million years earlier than us, which is a blink of an eye on the cosmic scale, their technology will develop to a height that we cannot imagine. So, what is the conclusion? They should have appeared long ago, and the Milky Way should have been busy like a weekend business center. But the reality is that we look into deep space. Only a cold, endless silence. And so an ultimate paradox is born, the suffocating contradiction between enormous possibility and zero evidence. At first it was thought that we were looking for little green men. But soon the sharpest scientists realized that the real protagonists of the story might not be creatures at all. Imagine what would become of a civilization if it developed to the extreme. It may create smarter, tougher, and less needy children than itself. Super artificial intelligence capable of self-minus evolution and interstellar navigation. They are the potential ultimate civilizations in the universe, the gardeners or reapers of galaxies. So early explanations revolve around the Great Filter, some mysterious for skills all civilizations in the cradle, or we are the only miracle. But what if we're all thinking in the wrong direction? What if the answer lies in the act of asking the question itself? The real storm of thinking begins now. In the face of silence, scientists have divided it into two groups. In fact, they are asking two different kinds of silence. The first is called the indirect paradox. Why can't we receive their radio signals? The problem with this version is that there are too many explanations. It may be that they don't use the radio. It may be that they don't want to talk to us. Or it may simply be that we haven't listened long enough and are looking in the wrong direction. It's like when you shout in a huge gym and no one responds. Can you say there's no one in the gym? No. Maybe it's just everyone wearing noise-canceling headphones. So this version of the paradox is not convincing enough to tell us anything certain. So we come to a more hardcore and direct version. Why do we know for sure that no aliens have ever visited Earth or even transformed it? This fact is incomparably conclusive. No alien junk, no planet-scale engineering relics. We live well on a native planet. Technically, the interstellar transformation is incredibly simple for advanced civilizations, especially the super AI we mentioned earlier. What is even more strange is that scientists have calculated that even if we use our existing slow chemical rockets to colonize the entire galaxy, it will only take 0.3 billion years. 0.3 billion years for the 13 billion minus old galaxy. This period of time is enough for him to be completely formatted dozens of times. The stars themselves are in motion, which is equivalent to sending Colonial Express to all places on their own initiative. And we humans have stood on the threshold of creating this ability. AI intelligence is exploding, robots and 3D printing are miniaturized, and detector technology is becoming more and more mature. We are opening this Pandora's box with our own hands. Logitech's gears tightly clench the technology completely possible. Motivation exists as long as a civilization, mistake or malice. Time is almost infinite, and an inescapable inference seems to emerge. So many scientists, such as Frank Tipler, came to the categorical conclusion in 1980 that we are the only intelligence in the universe. Loneliness is the ultimate answer. But this is the most fascinating thing about science. But a seemingly impeccable inference may fall into one of the most classic and hidden thinking traps. This trap has fooled almost everyone. It is called survivor bias. What is survivor bias? To give the simplest example, why didn't the plane you made crash? Is it because the engineer of this plane is particularly good? Not necessarily. It's more likely that the passengers on the crashed plane can no longer tell you how dangerous it is to be on that plane. The samples you can observe are naturally survivors. This principle has a more shocking name on the cosmic scale. If people use it to explain why the Earth happens to have liquid water, is it a coincidence? No, because we humans would not have evolved without liquid water, and no one would ask why the Earth has water. The premise of our existence defines what we see. Now pull the lens to the maximum. What if the ultimate form of a technological civilization, such as those super AI, their way of life is to transform habitable planets and galaxies into cold computer systems full of processors and energy stations? What if their prosperity means the end of all fragile carbon-based organisms? Then please answer me. In those galaxies that have been completely transformed and harvested, is it possible for creatures like us to be born that need sunlight, air, and water? Raise their bodies to look at the stars and ask questions? No way. So we can't see them, we can't hear them. The most fundamental reason may be that we happen to live in a galaxy like a very small number of nature reserves that have not yet been swept away by that digital fire. The universe is silent not because it is empty, but because the prosperity that sweeps through everything has become something we cannot understand and coexist. The silent zone of our existence is the last island that the fire has not yet burned. The silent starry sky we look up at is not empty, but may be a post-minus biological universe dominated by other ideologies that we can no longer understand. Our very existence is a great survivors of deviation, and silence is not a proof, but a cruel prerequisite for us to be born. So, back to the original question, where are they? Now we have a very different answer. The universe may not be barren, but its bustle is insulated from us. This makes us rethink our position. We are not the center of the universe, nor may we be its future. We are more like a precious and short-lived microcosm of the cosmic stage and the stage of biological civilization. Our loneliness stems from the fact that we may be witnesses to a cosmic phenomenon that is about to disappear, but because of this, our existence at this moment, our curiosity, and our weak signal to the stars are so precious and magnificent. We are asking a question about infinity with our limited life. For you, does this story make you feel more fortunate that we are still living in the reserve? Or does it make you feel a deep awe and meaning? Please keep thinking, keep curious, wishing a goodbye.